I'm Gethyn Jones of the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, and this coming autumn, on the 10th of November, we're giving a concert in the Anglican Cathedral in Liverpool, where we'll be performing the awe-inspiring and deeply moving War Requiem by Benjamin Britten. I'm fortunate enough tonight to have with me the architect of the project and its conductor, Andrew Manze. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you, Gethyn. I'm just sorry I can't be with you when you're presenting the War Requiem to our supporters.
That's fine.
I'm so happy the words you just used. It's an awe-inspiring piece. It's a very moving piece of music.
Yeah, absolutely, completely. The first question I need to ask you, obviously, and the whole orchestra would love to know, as well as the audience, is why Liverpool and why this autumn?
I visit Liverpool regularly. I'm so happy being principal guest now of the orchestra, but I've been coming here for years now. I walk around the city and you can still see how the city was devastated in the war by the bombing. I'm working in Hanover as well. That's my as it were, my home job is with the North German radio Philharmonic in Hanover, which was also severely bombed right at the end of the war. There was no reason to bomb Hanover. I mean, you can understand Liverpool, you want to get the docks, you want to somehow stop the infrastructure. Hanover, there was no real reason. There's an opera house and a train station and a lot of people. There's not much else. They did it to just get at the Germans. And so both cities suffered. And I now know, I'm so lucky that I know the musicians of both cities. And when I came to Liverpool and when I go to Hanover, I felt there's so much in common with the way you are as the RLPO, as people, as musicians, as the way the orchestra works together as a caring group of people, caring for one another, playing in a way that cares for one another. It's very special, very warm. I recognise that from Hanover as well. And so I had this thought, 2018, November, it'll be the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. Britten War Requiem, I knew actually from talking to Sandra Parr and Andrew Cornell that it had been in their thinking maybe to do a War Requiem. And I thought, well, why don't we do a collaboration with a German orchestra and a British orchestra? Let's sit side by side, and we will really be side by side. One member of the Liverpool, one member of the Hanover Orchestra, side by side. Because of the logistics, we won't have a lot of time together. You know, we'll be rehearsing this quite efficiently and quickly, but we will nevertheless spend, 5 days, the musicians, to do one concert in Germany. That'll be on the 3rd of November, so 1 week before the Liverpool concert. And then the 10th of November here in the cathedral, which is an amazing building. I mean, I gather it's one of the biggest enclosed spaces in Northern Europe, or if not Europe.
In the world, I think.
In the world, yes.
I think it's got the third highest transept, I think is the right word, in the world, next to, is it St. Peter's in Rome and the Metropolitan in New York, which is sort of a bit of a fact you get to know when you've lived here long enough. You know,
it's a breathtaking building.
Huge space.
And if there's anyone who hasn't been in, they should come. And War Requiem's a great chance to experience the building, of course. Yeah. And this, of course, the War Requiem, it has a large choir singing, a large orchestra, and then a small orchestra he calls chamber orchestra, which we will have, 12 or 13 players in that group. And then at some great distance away, a boys' choir, which I'm so thrilled that this worked. We'll have the boys of the cathedral choir. Yeah. We'll also have, there's a very fine boys' choir in Hanover, which has been going for decades. Oh, yeah. They will sing side by side as well, in both Hanover and in Liverpool. So I'm so happy that the collaboration isn't just about the orchestra. There will also be members of the Philharmonic choir coming over to Hanover to sing. And I'm hoping some German singers will come and sing in England. And what I'm so excited about this, because my hunch is that the musicians are going to just sit and click together. I may be wrong. I hope there won't be some international incident. No, I don't think so. I know all these musicians. I'm the one person who knows all the musicians, and I'm confident that it's going to be a really special experience for all of us. Yeah. And I'm thinking, we know in Britain that November the 11th, so the Sunday morning, marks exactly the armistice, the 11 o'clock on the 11th of the 11th. This is a special day. Now in Germany they don't really have a Remembrance Day. You can understand why. I mean, Germany is dealing with so many demons and guilt and all sorts of things about the wars, both wars, but of course particularly the Second War. They don't have a Remembrance Day. You see everywhere, like in Britain, I mean, I grew up in a village in Bedfordshire where there's a war memorial with the names carved on of the lost from both wars. Germany, they don't have that so much. What they do have is the different regiments or battalions or the groups, they have little memorials. But in a sense, they're trying to forget, not to remember. Yeah. And in Britain, of course, this, because it's the 100th, I gather that there's a sense that this will be the last Remembrance Sunday of this type, Remembrance weekend. I've been explaining to the Germans that we do have this Remembrance Day, and many people wear poppies. And I said, you know, you will see people wearing poppies. There's no compulsion, there's no need to wear them, but if you want, you can. They don't have these traditions at all. And I've been trying to explain, but I do know that they won't really get it and understand it until they're here that weekend in Liverpool, where they will realise how special this is. I remember once being in Heathrow Airport at 11 o'clock on the 11th in the morning, and suddenly there was an announcement, there will now be a minute's silence or 2 minutes silence. And everyone just stopped walking, stopped talking, and it was incredible. This stillness. And in Germany they don't have this at all. So I'm really sort of in a sense looking forward to, it's not quite the right word, to my German colleagues, they're not all Germans of course, but the German orchestra being here and experiencing this and realising how the remembrance element is nothing about victory. No. It's not at all about victory. It's about remembering. Some of the terrible things, how many people lost their lives, how many people's lives were destroyed by these things. And Britten's War Requiem, I'm very moved when I look at the first page before the music starts. There are 4 names. He dedicated this to 4 people who died, friends of his. Now, 3 of them died in the Second War, but one of them died quite recently before the War Requiem was written. And Britten felt that he was still a war victim because it had destroyed his life, this man, one of his friends. And he actually took his own life in I don't know when it was, 1960 or something. It's very moving that Britten is recognising that it's not just about war, it's about the huge shadow war casts over everything. And I find that very moving, that Britten isn't only dealing with war and how awful it is and the folly of war, he says the pity of war, but he's looking at how it affects everyone, even sort of unborn children are affected by this. And you know, walking around Liverpool, I often stay down by Seal Street, and they're still rebuilding. You know, in a sense that the reconstruction goes on. However many years we are post the Second World War, and I feel this piece of music still has such a value. I find it so moving. The parts of the piece, I'm sure Ian Tracy is talking about these things as well. The parts where he uses the metaphor of the Abraham and Isaac story, where God says, take Isaac out and sacrifice him, you know, I want you to do this. And Abraham's about to do it. And then God sends an angel who says, it's the heavenly music, no pun intended. The angel says, no, don't do this. There's a ram there caught in the bushes, you know, sacrifice the ram instead. But Abraham does it anyway. He kills his son and half the seed of Europe. You know, I mean, it's so powerful, these things. It's a requiem. It's it's the Requiem Mass in Latin, which the big choir sings the Requiem in Latin. And then 2 of the soloists, the tenor and the baritone, sing the poems of Wilfred Owen, which Britten has chosen. And
and they sing it with the chamber choir?
With the chamber orchestra.
The chamber orchestra, the chamber
that's
orchestra.
Right.
Not with the main orchestra.
No, it's only at the very end of the Requiem where everyone joins together. The tenor and baritone sing the beautiful words, let us sleep now. The last poem Britten chooses to set is called Strange Meeting.
Strange Meeting.
Oh, it kills me every time.
I've read it a few times. You are the enemy.
You are the enemy. My friend. You killed me yesterday,
Yes.
and I saw it in your eyes. I recognised your eyes. It's two men one has killed the other and then died from opposite sides. And of course, we will have a British tenor and a German baritone, which is how Britten conceived the piece. I mean, he had his best friend, of course, Peter Pears, his partner, and Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau sang it originally. We will have the same, because it somehow captures the symbolism of this contact. There's that statue down by the St. Luke's, the bombed-out church, of the German and the English man shaking hands over a football. It's just so... Absolutely. And the war Requiem is somehow putting this into music. It's very, very moving.
It is. Yeah, fabulous. Gosh, I can't wait, actually.
It's incredible.
I've only ever played it once before, and I missed the last performance that the orchestra gave, so I could have hypothetically played it twice, which was in '08, and I wasn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the performance. But you know, it was for Capital Culture. I think was kind of part of the celebration.
Yes, Vasily Petrenko conducted that. Yes. Interestingly, of course, in Britain, it's quite a well-known piece. It's a big piece, so it's not done that often because of the logistics. I'm interested in Germany how my colleagues, very many of them are aware of the piece. Many of them have heard it, and some of them have performed it.
Oh, wow.
Interestingly, our librarian sang it when he was a boy. He was in the boys' choir.
Okay.
Some of my colleagues, one of them played it in a youth orchestra. And it's interesting how this piece has, it has sort of touched their lives, many of them. Of course, many of them don't know it yet. So what I'm going to do is for the German orchestra is sort of just prepare a sort of short summary, you could say, about what the piece is doing. Because if you don't know what the words are, then you can be a little confused. I think it's well worth just reading through the text of the poems before the event, so that you can really get the power of them. And I will just prepare I'll explain to them about the poppy thing and the Remembrance Sunday, this element, so that they can really. I mean, I know they're so thrilled about this. They're so looking forward to meeting the Liverpool musicians. This is a huge thing, because we've never done this before, and I believe the Liverpool Orchestra's never done a side-by-side thing like this before.
No, never with the Continental Orchestra. Or any, the only thing we've ever done in my 30 years here was we did a big celebration for Northwest Television, where we played with the Halle. And we sat side by side with the Halle in this hall, actually. And that was a great show, and we loved that, you know, just to spend the whole day together, or a couple of days together. It was great fun, and enjoyed each other's playing, and it was brilliant. It was great fun.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, that was lovely. So I'm so looking forward to this, and everybody I know is involved is really excited. I can't even tell you. I mean, they're really excited, not just about going to Hanover for the trip, but actually to meet all the musicians. Hugely excited.
And actually, you've just reminded me that I've been using the term side by side, which I got from here and I'm sure you've been involved in this, with the In Harmony. We do this thing, you do this regularly, side by side with the children, the little ones.
Next to us,
a member of the orchestra sitting next to a child. This is an amazing project. And then I had this vision of side by side with two professionals from different orchestras. That's actually where the first initial idea came of sharing
rather than sitting in blocks.
Or the big orchestra being Liverpool, the small one being Hanover. We could have done it like that. That would be easier to do, to be honest.
I think there was a the only collaborative performance I know of historically there was once in the 70s, I think for BBC Television, one with the orchestra, or BBC Orchestra in Wales, BBC National Orchestra of Wales, then the BBC World Symphony Orchestra, and they did one. I remember watching as a teenager. They did one with the Dresden in the cathedral in Dresden, and also in St Asaph in Cardiff, and they used the BBC Welsh Symphony Orchestra and the Dresden Chamber Orchestra, I believe, or whatever, but not to collaborate. They didn't, as you say, sit side by side.
Yeah.
We will find a way, I know that.
You will find a way. And I thought the symbolism of sitting together is far more important than a fussy detail about a sort of a technical problem.
I think with the string players, it'll be fine.
Yes,
there'll be no issue. But I can imagine that the style of wind playing and things like that probably different. But I'm sure there'll be compromises and people because everybody will want to just produce.
Yes. I know there will.
And they'll want to do it for you because we all adore you.
Oh, well, that's so nice.
It's the truth.
But I adore you too. You know, that's why I thought this would work, because I have this job in Hanover. I've been the chief there. I'm in my 5th season. I really like them. They're friends. Some of them are very close friends now, and I like them very much. And I like the musicians here. It's rare when you're a conductor. You often feel that you go in, you try to do a good job, and you feel you've contacted musicians just to that extent, and then the day ends and you go home and wait for the next rehearsal, to be honest. But Liverpool's different. I come here, I come early in the morning, and everyone says hello. You know, this is unusual. This is unusual.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's really nice.
Nice to know.
And I was walking down the hill yesterday after we'd finished work, and someone said, "Hello, Mr. Manze." And he's obviously an audience member. This is so nice. So there is a warmth here, and that's what made me think this will work so well. And in Hanover, I feel this as well. I made a conscious decision. I have a bicycle in Hanover. I cycle to work, like half the orchestra does. It's a real bicycle city. There are hardly any hills, and most people live within cycling distance. So a lot of us cycle to work. And this I got my bicycle on my first day, and this bicycle was a huge success because it showed that I'm not just here, that my predecessor used to take a taxi to work every day, or get a lift in. And I thought, I'm never going to take a taxi.
Good for you.
Yeah, I cycle in. And this immediately took the barriers down. We're all just trying to do our job, and we're trying to do it as well as we can. And in addition to that, we're people with lives. I mean, you're busy doing other things when you're not here playing, or when you're not practicing, you're doing other things. And I'm aware of that. And so I feel it's an important part. And that's why I thought this would work, because there's this human element is very similar with these orchestras.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to, immensely meeting them all.
Yeah. And I'm really happy as well, just a personal thing I maybe shouldn't say, but my wife's going to come. She's never been to Liverpool to come. Okay. I'm always telling her how much, she knows I love coming here, so she's going to come and listen. And my parents will come. They've been here before. Wow. They live down in the south, in Bedford.
Yes.
They're going to come. My brother's going to drive them up, and so I'm going to have 4 members of my family there. So this is so special for me to have family here as well. Yeah.
Is your brother a musician?
No, he was a very fine cello player.
Yeah,
he is a cellist. He played the Saint-Saëns first concerto. Yes, when at school he played that. He was very good. No, he works with computers and in the banking system. But he loves music. He listens to a lot of music. And my parents are not musicians, but they've been hearing music there. All my life they've been listening. So I'm really happy they're coming along to listen.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
A nice family affair. It's great.
And we're lucky, aren't we, that we can be in the middle of all this. But I think for our listeners as well, this concert for me is so special because of the combination of the 2 orchestras that I love most, actually, to be honest.
Well, that's very nice of you.
That I think we are going to remember this for our whole lives. But I'm hoping the audience is going to remember this was something special as well.
Good. Yeah. That's how I like to feel about it. That's why I think we're all excited. I think we all know it's an event, a happening on a massive scale. Anyway, Andrew, I better leave it there. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
So nice to talk to you about it, because I feel the enthusiasm from you as well.
I can't wait.
So yeah, me too.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gethyn, so much.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.